Welcome in, you guys. My name's Kat. This is my channel, Pure Premonitions. So I've been really busy this whole weekend, and I apologize that literally every day this week I was just not able to do the readings when I was scheduled to. So I'm going to make up for yesterday. I should have done one Monday, but if I'm not in the right state of mind and I'm not in the right energy, I would just rather not bestow that upon your readings. So now that I am in a better state of mind, let's get to it. So I had already pre-shuffled the deck, and I always just like to do a little sneak peek of what kind of energy the reading is going to be about. So typically on Mondays, I'm aware today's Tuesday, but typically on Mondays, I keep it neutral. So Mondays and Wednesdays are my neutral readings. It's not love specific. It's not money specific. Whatever energy comes up for us is what I want to give you. And I think money is on the table here because we've got the King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So there's definitely this business leadership mentality coming through, some prosperity and abundance entering the chat. So we love this wealth security. Okay. Virgo and Leo specifically, but any signs could be relevant. Any fire and earth. Okay. So let's get this going. How are we feeling? I've also decided that starting this week, this week, I'm going to do some shorter tea leaf readings. Ooh, we had some cards flip. Somebody went through a tower moment, but it is in reverse. So it's all about personal transformation. Definitely in somebody's scared to change. They're still going through some suffering. They're like not ready for this collapse to happen. But the Page of Swords is here. So you have this thirst for knowledge, these new ideas, these new ways of communicating, want to come in. Ooh, and it is correlated to love because we've got the Page of Cups too. There is going to be a happy surprise. Somebody's got this dreamer mentality. There is a new love potential here. We love that. There's always endless possibilities, but a lot of intuitive messages are coming through. As soon as this personal transformation starts to happen and we start to let go of that fear of change and let the stormy times pass, right? So look, the stormy times are passing with that Tower card, and then like the clouds are still kind of rolling in and out of here, but that's good because it's clarity coming in. And then once that clarity comes in, the waters calm a bit. There's still a little choppy from after the storm, but there's enough clarity to know what's happening emotionally. And somebody wants to, speak up. And pages are always my messengers. And then we've got the Lovers, which, okay, this is not the Lovers card, but it's the Two of Cups, which is like essentially just the exact same thing as the Lovers. But it's telling me more of a commitment. So it could be like a marriage proposal if you guys have already been together for a hot minute, but it could just mean that somebody's coming in with an actual commitment, with some truth, with some unified love, like they're recognizing this real connection. There's mutual attraction here. And this is a soulmate energy. We've got the Six of Cups here. There's this reminiscing on old memories, a lot of nostalgia. Look at that. So they know it. They know that you're their person. Water signs are relevant here. A lot of water. Water signs coming in heavy. There's movement. There's balance. We're finding some solutions. We're harmonizing. There's a lot of healing and empathy here. So just be mindful of that energy rolling in. Okay, so it's looking like a little bit of love and money. We love that. Ooh, oh my gosh. These cards are just flying out at me today. What do we got? Yeah, somebody's going through a heartbreak. There was suffering, there was grief, a lot of emotional pain. There's a big separation here, possibly a divorce. Like you went through this loss and depression. But we've got the Queen of Pentacles energy. So you're being nurturing about it. You're being practical and recognizing that you need to focus on providing financially and put your attention towards work and finances rather than on this heartache. Okay, so that energy is coming through. I'm just saying. What other energy? I haven't even pulled a single card yet. So much has been told. What does my collective need to know? What does my collective need to know? What's going on in my collective's recent past? What have they just left behind? What's affecting their present situation? This one. Okay, you could have went through some financial loss or an emotional loss. There's you were in a time of you're in a time of not being able to speak, right? Somebody was having a hard time communicating. But you're in a time of isolation. So anytime the Five of Pentacles shows up for me, it's a lot of like anxiety, worry coming up. On the physical realm of things, if we're talking finances, it could mean that you have a lot of insecurities around money, that you have a need for financial stability. You could have experienced a financial loss or poverty. But when we're talking about it on an emotional sense, there's just a grand instability here. There is a challenge and changes that need to occur or are occurring. And, it's hard to get past the loss and move forward towards the freedom. So just be mindful that this overexertion of energy towards focusing on the loss, whether that be financial or emotional, is not how you're going to see your path forward. I love this card in the sense of, they're outside, they're in the cold, but they're not looking up. They're not recognizing that there's a light right above them and that there is warmth on the other side of this journey. If they were to enter into this church and see that there's warmth and abundance of prosperity and support within there, right? The lights are on inside. There's warmth. There's candle lights, and there's signs of prosperity with the Five of Pentacles on the stained glass. So it's going to get better is all I'm saying. But this is what you were going through in the past. Okay, and then what's going on for their present situation, like the obstacle that you're facing right now? Queen of Swords in reverse. So you're lacking this clarity on the overall situation. You're just kind of not seeing the clear picture. You potentially are being overly emotional, easily influenced here. On the far end of the spectrum, you could even be cold-hearted about it, right? Like the sword from that heartache and financial loss could really be just digging in at this point. And, you've experienced the sharp end of the blade. So that creates some cruel, bitter feelings internally. But we're always reminded that if you were to truly embody this Queen of Pentacles in the upright position, you can establish clear boundaries through these experiences. It would give you a clearer mindset, a better perspective of what's happening here, and an unbiased judgment because you can see the whole picture from every angle. This Queen is clear on communication and independence, and she takes her throne by herself and she wields that sword of command with these direct boundaries. Like she just knows where she's headed. She knows what she wants. She knows how to say it. And nobody is going to cloud that judgment. So we do want this energy to reverse itself into the upright, right? We still have some of those clouds in the back there, clouding our judgment. We want those to roll through. Butterflies can be significant, and a black bird, a crow possibly, or a raven. Yeah, butterflies are definitely significant here. So we're going through this personal transformation, like I had stated with that tower that showed up for us. This is definitely on a personal level more so than an external. Of course, everything affects you internally and externally, but this journey is one that you have to take within. Okay. Clarification from my frickin' washer. Does anybody know how to frickin' fix this washer? Because I'm just gonna pull my hair out if I keep listening to this little jingle. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, back to you. Let's go for your immediate challenge. Let's switch it up today. What's your immediate blocking influence for this whole thing? The Knight of Wands. This energy, this passion that's typically this Knight of Wands is a fast moving knight. It's like the fire's under that knight's butt and they're moving forward fearlessly, almost impulsively towards this adventure, like taking inspired action, moving towards what they know that they want, what they know that they need. And obviously, if this Knight of Wands is you, you're lacking this energy, this motivation, this drive to take that inspired action. You're lacking the passion or don't know exactly what direction to go on this adventure in. And there could be fear stopping you too, since this is your immediate challenge of the situation. And if this is correlating to somebody else, then your immediate challenge could be you have this lack of energy because your Knight of Wands is not being fearless and coming forward fast and passionately. You know, this influence that you're being blocked by could be that this Knight of Wands, is running away. It has fleeted just like he flew right out of my hands. So yeah, that's our challenge with this Knight of Wands, just not taking the action that they need to, whether that's you or your specific person on your mind. Any fire or air signs are relevant here. Okay. And then our immediate future, that's like the likely events right ahead of you. So I always say next few days, next couple of weeks, at tops couple of months, but that's usually for our potential outcome in the future. We have the High Priestess energy, but in reverse. So there's still a secret here. So in our immediate future, there's still something hidden. You're still disconnected from your intuition. There's a lot of silence here, so I'm really picking up on you guys are disconnected from this Knight of Wands that you wanted to come in, but they're not here. Could be due to some shallowness, some ignorance, or just a misunderstanding of the situation. But yeah, an energy here is withdrawn. And unfortunately, that's, this is still going to be the energy for the next few days, next few weeks, potentially next month or two. But there is a secret that you don't know of. And it's obviously causing you some emotional harm and keeping you hidden from your internal knowing, your internal intuition, this divine wisdom that we all have that we can tap into. But sometimes things cloud this judgment, this intuition. So Spirit's just telling you that it's a reminder, you should be utilizing this time to begin the projects and whatever creative endeavors. And if you still feel disconnected from your intuition, separate yourself from any of these hardships, right? Don't focus on that financial loss. Don't focus on the emotional loss or what's not here. You need to focus on the action that you can take, the inspired action from stepping into this Queen of Swords energy, right? Becoming this independent person that has clear boundaries and direct communication. And then this High Priestess energy can step into her divinity and fully trust themselves and have the highest of morals and this sacred knowledge of the subconscious that you just know everything is going to be all right. It's all about trust, trusting the universe, trusting yourself. Heavy water energy here tonight. lot of water. Okay. Let's see. Ooh, before my tea gets cold. I always like to take some sips. Cheers, you guys. It was just 15:15 on the clock. That's 6 and 6. So, ooh, we're taking a journey. There's we have some drippage, and that's always an indicator for me that we're moving. There's movement, and you're going somewhere. Or somebody's going somewhere. But 6 and 6 is 6 is the number of love. So, the doorway. You're walking through this self-love path. You will find the love. The love will find you. So don't worry about that. Okay. I'm drinking a nice London Fog, but I added some mint tea. I think there's some cinnamon and nutmeg and like just fun, yummy stuff in there too. Anywho, okay. What does my collective need to know? What does my collective need to know? Let's keep going on this beautiful Tuesday. We're making up for my Monday reading, my Miss Monday. Non-bias, I will accept anything. Love, money, career, happiness, family. What's going on for my collective? What's going on? What's going on? Can we clarify this recent past here? I want to look. 7 of Swords. There's somebody's wearing a mask. Somebody's hiding and avoiding something. They're lying to themselves. There's definitely some cunning trickery here with the Wheel of Fortune, but it's faded. It is resulting to a positive change in these cycles that needed to change. Interesting. Okay. So that's what we don't see happening here. Whenever we split the deck or at the bottom of the deck, it's energies that you don't really see. Okay, recent past. The Page of Swords. Come on. Yeah. You're really seeking this information in the past. You were seeking communication that you just weren't being given. You were in this very curious energy. You wanted to communicate, but it just wasn't coming through. There could have even been gossip. Correlator on this. Ooh, and we had a card fly out of there. Okay, so this is correlating to the 6 of Cups, which we had show up earlier in the reading. So this Page of Swords that was having a hard time communicating, like you were trying to find some real information out. You were seeking truth that just wasn't being shared to you. And it's correlated to this 6 of Cups, these memories, this nostalgia. The 6 of Cups to me is always like past sentiment. So it's about past soulmates, the soulmate connection, lovers from past lifetimes, or potentially just a lover from your past in this lifetime. But yeah, this is correlating to you were trying to find this clear communication with this person, and it just was not coming up. And that honestly is what created this loss and isolation and insecurities. You didn't really know what to focus on since you couldn't find this truth. Yeah, that's what that strife was about. These changes, this instability here. You definitely went through a loss. Somebody had cut you off. They were in separation. Okay. And then over this present situation with the Queen of Swords, we've got the 8 of Wands in reverse. So we've got some fire energy coming over this water and air. They're not moving as fast as we should. So 8 of Wands is usually my fastest moving card and my communication card. So if it were in the upright, like they'd be rushing towards you to communicate this truth of this soul connection, but they're just not. Unfortunately, it was in the reversal. So that means it's a slow decision. It's not a quick decision. They aren't able to decide, so they'd rather step away to to not make any decisions, to not move forward. And there's no progress here. It's either completely halted, or you could have even had to go backwards, and they literally are walking away in the opposite direction of forward towards this situation, which is unfortunate, but that's of course why this Queen of Swords was in the reversal. That made her be, easily influenced and have this lack of boundaries, and made her a bit cold-hearted and very bitter. Again, anytime that I'm talking about queens or kings, feminine energy, masculine energy, anybody, this could correlate to anybody. I have masculine energy, but I identify as feminine. You can tap into both energies. It doesn't matter how you identify or whoever you're attracted to. Take it how it resonates. So again, I'm talking about energy, and I just tell whatever's on the cards. If I see a feminine depicted on the card or a masculine depicted on the card, that's what I'm talking about. But if you're the opposite and it resonates towards you, then take that, because this message is for you or your significant other. It doesn't matter if it's same sex, they, them, he, she, doesn't matter. If it's resonating, then that message is for you. But yeah, unfortunately, if this is correlating to you, this Eight of Wands energy, or your person, there's not fast movement here. They weren't able to make a decision. In fact, they decided to walk in the opposite direction or make no progress here. And that's currently why this Queen of Swords is in the reversal. Okay. And then the challenge, like this blocking, influencing energy here for this Knight of Wands, is the Five of Cups. They're going through this loss and grief too. There's a big disappointment here. They're blinded to love. Love probably scared them. When you have somebody like so pure walk into your life, and it seems like, wow, this is amazing, but they have insecurities, they could feel not worthy of it and disappointed because they're thinking, oh, well, it's another joke that the universe is playing on me. Guess I'm just going to slip back into this loss and grief and not accept this. Yeah, but there's definitely a challenge here with their emotional being. There's this lack of stability emotionally, and they just couldn't be blinded by love in this moment. They chose to take the disappointment instead and not move forward. Right? The Knight of Wands. As our immediate challenge card, that's what's blocking them. There's no inspired action. They have the fear, so they can't move forward impulsively. Even if there was passion and hot energy here with this fire energy coming through, the emotional waters, like the grief and the loss and the disappointment, those tears just wiped out all of the fiery passion for our challenge. Okay, well, that sucks. At the bottom of the deck, yeah, again, they're wearing a mask. They were hiding and avoiding these feelings. And they lied. Somebody definitely lied in a cunning manner. They could have been slick about it, very trickery. Blue. Yeah, see, even though they had their mask on, they were feeling very blue. They were feeling like it's not really what they wanted to do. Nobody likes lying, I'm sure, unless you're a narcissist. But they just decided that they had to hide, they had to avoid. All right, and in the immediate future with this High Priestess energy, we have the Page of Pentacles. So the good news is that it will make you move forward towards, ooh, something else flew out. Yeah, there's a rebirth here. We got the Death card that flew out. It's making you recognize that you need to just move forward ambitiously and diligently work on your goals. Be more goal-oriented. Move that faith and loyalty to yourself, to your passion projects, to planning towards your future. because that's all we can do, right? Start to put this energy into your own growth with these beautiful white flowers. And then we had the death card come up, card number 13. So 4, you're meant to rebuild, create this foundation after this death, after that Tower card earlier, right? This is your internal transformation. Endings had to happen in order to create these massive changes that were necessary. This transition and release is ultimately what's going to be your power. It's going to be how this growth happens. And then you can step into that Queen of Swords energy, right? And be able to actually yield this, the sword energy and have full clarity on the entire situation and come back into your intuition. Because in the immediate future with that High Priestess in reverse, it's like you're still feeling disconnected from your intuition, but it's because you're going through this rebirth. You're going through this death energy. Something had to be let go of in order for you to come back into what's really at hand here. You needing to focus on your goals rather than this love situation. Because remember, at the beginning of our reading, in the past, you had a lot of financial loss here. You need to stay focused. You need to put your mindset back on gaining that prosperity and security, getting yourself out of that situation. And I know it freaking sucks when you had this soulmate connection here. Twice we had this card, but they're not ready. They're still going through this growth energy. They're dealing with the 5 of Cups and the 8 of Wands in reversal. They're not ready to come in right now. And they're all honestly just as disappointed too. They're fucking lying about it, but whoop, that is what it is. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, let's pick a few final cards, and then part 2, I'll do my tea. Ooh, we had a card instantly fly out of there. The Sun. Okay, we do have new beginnings coming in. There is happiness and well-being underlying in this entire reading. I know it doesn't seem like that, but there is. There definitely is. Which I love that for the what's at hand. A lot of fire and water signs are relevant here today. Okay, oh, and we have a knot here. Yeah, there were some unsuccessful plans. Look at, I see a heart in this rope, right? So your plans of love became a bit knotted up. They were not as successful as you had planned on. But that doesn't mean that there is not happiness and overall well-being to this situation. Remember, people have to go through these rebirths, these dark nights of the souls, to understand what's really at hand here, to come back into these sentimental, nostalgic memories and realize that they don't want to stay in this loss and grief, disappointment energy, that they want to move forward and have faith and loyalty and ambitions in multiple areas of their life. Okay. I don't know, Spirit's telling me it's this one. Moon. Yeah, there were a lot of changes in your life that had to happen in your past. We have the Sun and Moon energy. Come on. You guys are the Sun, Moon, and stars and everything in between. With the 6 of Cups, the Moon clarifying over the 6 of Cups, like changes had to happen in both parties' lives. Woo! Sneeze for confirmation. I might have 2 for you. We'll see. So, yeah, the changes were inevitable. Both parties had to go through these changes. Okay. And then immediate challenge. The elephant in the room. It's going to be a long journey. I know that's not what you want to hear, but either a physical or mental and emotional journey, let's be real. It will leave you wiser at the end, though, just like this beautiful, majestic elephant. One of my favorite spirit animals, along with cats, duh, of course. So yeah, this disappointment, unfortunately, it being a long journey of delays and frustrations on every level, physical, mental, and emotional, is what leaves you wiser at the end of this. So go figure, you know? And then, oh yeah, because those two popped out. So another for the present situation, overall energy. The sunrise. See, we're clarifying the sun with the sunrise. You have new creative ideas here. There's new ventures and there is a fresh start. There's a fresh start. I really feel like you're going to step into this prosperity of both financial abundance and recognizing that there's a new start to a whole life ahead of you. Maybe with a new lover, maybe this lover will come back, but right now you are meant to focus on yourself and your own growth towards this happiness and these new beginnings and the immediate future. Likely events ahead of you for this whole situation. Before you can get to the sunrise, there is a bit of a storm. I'm sorry. The clouds are still rolling through, which is it correlates with everything. Remember, the high priestess was in reverse. I told you that there's still some secrets here. There's still some hidden information that you don't know about that's keeping you disconnected from your intuition. There was a party or both parties that had to withdraw and go into silence mode. There was a bit of selfish misunderstandings there. Then we had the death energy where this is a time of endings and change and transitions, releasing and transformation. But that is guiding you towards this Page of Pentacles. So you're meant to be goal oriented and find this faith and be loyal to your own ambitions and planning ahead for your future, not focusing on the love and whatnot. But that does mean that there are going to be temporary problems. So again, for the next couple days, next couple weeks, at tops month or two, I'm really not feeling that energy though. I'm feeling like a few weeks. There will be some clouds here, and that's okay because you're going through changes in life. It's going to be a little cloudy. It's going to make your mind, influenced on this lack of clear boundaries. You won't really know exactly what direction to progress in yet because you're still trying to find your way through the fog. You're trying to allow these clouds to clear. But what's, again, bringing you back to some positive energy is even though we had some unsuccessful plans in our past and there are still these temporary problems, you've got the sun and the sunrise in the future. We had 3313 on the clock there. So 333 could be relevant, but there's new ventures and a fresh start ahead of you. So I hope this helps. Again, my name is Kat. This is my channel, Pure Premonitions. I like to make more magic with you. Come back for part 2 for the 2-leaf reading. Okay, bye guys.